You're listening to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and here we discuss topics on personal fitness, well-being, and elevation of mind and body. Join us as we help build and grow a community of real, elevated men and women. If you're currently feeling frustrated, flat, and fed up with life, or want to be a physically and mentally elevated individual, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Elevation podcast. Welcome to the RE family and get ready to elevate your mind and body. Welcome to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and today we have another outstanding, informative, and elevating show for you. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome all first-time listeners to the show, and be sure to stay to the end, where I'll be sharing all my social media links where you can connect with me and my community as we continue to grow the Real Elevation podcast community. Welcome. God bless you wherever you are tuning in. Appreciate you coming back again to listen to another fantastic and elevating show of the Real Elevation podcast. Today we're diving into a crucial topic, on a topic that you've asked for us to discuss again or revisit again because you see it as very important. How to eat right, the basics. Now, we know there is a lot of confusion out there when it comes to eating and how is the best and what is the best way to eat, from fad diets to conflicting advice. But let's keep it real, as you know I like to do. Nutrition is never a one-size-all approach. That never works. What works for your friend doesn't necessarily work for you. What your influencer tells you to do may not necessarily be the best thing for you to do. And let's be honest, majority of those influencers out there, if I'm being quite honest and real, simply have an objective, have a goal to sell you one of their latest and greatest products, which is probably not good for you anyway. Trust me, I'm speaking from experience. But here is the good news. There are some universal basic laws that everyone can apply. So whether you're a vegan, vegetarian, you now have my certain concerns about certain ways of eating, but we're not going to get into that today. But regardless of your actual outlook, there are some universal basics that when you apply, everyone can be a winner. So my goal is at the end of this show, end of this episode, you're going to walk with my 4 simple science-backed steps to transform your plate and help you look and feel your best and look younger. I'm going to break it down into actionable steps, and my goal here today is simply to develop you some sustainable eating habits, or to build upon your current improving eating habits. That was going to help you to fuel your body, help you get off that belly fat or any excess or unwanted weight, get those toxins out of the system, and support your health for the long term. That's what we are going to do. So we're going to look at, in today's episode, look years younger and feel lighter, how to eat right, the basics. Look years younger and feel lighter, how to eat right, the basics. Now, why is it important? Now, we know science backs this up. There are many different studies, and some of which I may even refer to as I'm going through some of these points. But we know that diet directly impacts how you age. You know, you've heard me say it before. It's true what Paul Chek says in his book, How to Eat, Move and Be Healthy. I'll leave a link to the description to that book where you can pick it up because it's a fascinating book. You are what you eat. So your energy levels, how your body functions, they're all impacted on the food that you eat. There was a study done in 2020. It was published by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and found that men who maintained a balanced diet, a whole food diet with proper hydration, had significantly lower markers of inflammation, which is one of the main key drivers of aging. So we all know that as you age, one of the things that does tend to impact our aging process is inflammation in the body. But if you're eating clean food, balanced food, real food with proper hydration, that significantly lowers your risk. There was another study by Harvard's Technical College the Chan School of Public Health that confirmed that portion control as well can also help in terms of managing how we age and also our weight. And we'll get into that a little bit later as well. So how we eat, the amount we eat, all impacts how we age. So I'm going to break it down into 4 simple steps in terms of today's title: Look years younger and feel lighter, how to eat right, the basics. So step 1 is eat a variety of foods. Your body thrives on diversity. Now, I know when I work with a lot of my clients, many of them are eating the same 10 foods over and over again, not really having any sort of variety, just basically eating on autopilot. But we know that if we're not having diversity, we're not varying our foods, we're missing out on essential nutrients that our body needs. Variety isn't just a spice of life, it's a secret to a resilient gut, and that's going to help improve things such as our skin and the way our skin looks. If we want glowing skin, we want to making sure we're getting as many varied nutrients in the system. A groundbreaking study was done in 2022 in the Nature of Microbiology, which showed that people with diverse gut microbiomes had stronger immunity and better nutrient absorption. So what's that saying is, in terms of the microbiome, that is important in terms of how our gut functions. We have the ability to create a stronger and more resilient, more robust immune system when we have that diversity in there. So eating a varied amount of cool foods, you've heard me talk about it, eat the rainbow. So if you can get the right foods in that are right for your metabolism, right for your type, right for your eating pattern, that's going to help your body to thrive. So action steps that you can do to help you to do this include a mix of different sources of proteins. So if you're someone who eats typically 1 or 2 different protein sources, maybe just meat or maybe just beef or maybe just chicken, try changing out. Look at including some fish sources, might try including some veal sources, try including some different forms from nuts, dairy, fruit, dairy all have a great source of protein. Make sure that you're getting a good blend and a good range of healthy fats also. A major range of carbohydrates. Mix it up. Yeah, same again with your vegetables. Look to eat different colours. Don't just stick to lean greens. You've heard me say that's very beneficial, but we can eat purple, we can eat red, we can eat yellow. Mix it up, making sure that you're eating right for your type, but you're getting a good range of different vitamins and minerals provided by these different ranges of vegetables. And look to experiment. You know, no one size fits all. I started off by saying this, and you are going to be different for the next person. But you've got to learn, as I always talk about when it comes to keeping it real, about taking responsibility and doing what is right for you. Yes, it's good to have guidance, which I'm sharing with you today, but you have to learn what works best for you, finding out what is going to work and support your body as you continue on your well-being and your fitness journey. So making sure that, number 1, you're eating a variety of foods. Number 2, portion control. Now, we know even healthy foods can cause excessive weight gain if you're eating too much. So we know that most people do struggle with, well, the term I use is portion distortion. Yeah, basically eating too much. We know that for many of us, the amount of food that we eat on our plate in comparison to yesteryear or years gone by is way too much, because we have access to too much food these days. And we've shown that over the years. I think the study was done in, I can't remember exactly when, but I remember reading from a paper in a journal that over the last 20 years, so we're in 2025 now, our portion sizes have increased by at least a third. So we're eating a third more food than we were 20 years ago. And that's because, in my opinion, it's down to the access of food. We get food way too easy now, so our relationship with food has changed. So we need to look at fixing the amount of food and calories that we're taking on board on a daily basis. Now, a simple fix, especially when we're eating a meal, sat down and having a meal, is maybe filling our plate a little bit differently. So maybe what you would normally have in terms of portion size, is there a way that you can maybe just measure that and temper that, the amount of food that you're taking on board? So again, it's something that you would need to experiment with, work out what works well for you, but ask yourself the question, if you've got an objective to manage your weight more effectively, if you want to feel more energized, is it something that you could look to do? Look at the amount of food that you're taking on at any one sitting, and can you control and amend your portion size? So you can use the old school hand guide as a portion. So a portion of protein should be the size of your palm, carbs should be the size of your fist, fat's about the size of your thumb. When I'm talking with some of my clients in the cohorts that I run on a specific joint pain program, we talk about this in terms of portion control. So you can use that as a guide. Also, that can help us in terms of our portion control is the way we eat. A lot of people rush when they're eating. It's like they need to get off really quick. Can we slow it down? Can we be a little bit more mindful when we're eating our food? You know, give your body and your brain a chance to actually register the food, and you get the opportunity and the chance to actually feel full. For all of us, we don't do that because we're just in a rush. We just wolf it down, almost like we're just inhaling the food. Can you slow it down and stick to one plate per meal? I know there's the options, especially when we go out to family and friends. I know it happens with my mum. She's like, do you want some more? Because she cooks for the army. But I could also say, no, I'm all right, thanks. Or I could say, yeah, I'll have some more. That choice is yours. So that's something that you could look to do. So use a palm, use a guide using those palms, the thumbs, the fists in terms of your portion control. Slow down when you're eating. Give your brain a chance to register the food that you're eating, and also stick to one portion at the meal. Don't go back for a second, unless you have to. Okay. Number 3. Eat whole natural foods. So remember, what we're talking about here is look years younger and feel lighter. How to eat right, the basics. Now, when we're talking about eating real food, that is key, because we know the more processed foods that you eat, the worse it's going to be for your body. Yeah. So you're looking at minimizing the amount of refined and highly processed foods that you have in your system. The British Medical Journal did a study linked to ultra processed foods, and we know from that study they concluded that eating those types of foods too often in your diet, it accelerates cellular aging. And what we want to do is, when we're thinking about how we can slow down our cells aging, yeah? So guess what? Whole foods, natural foods help us to do that. Why? Because they're packed with fiber, they're packed with antioxidants, and simply put, packed with the good stuff that helps to slow down cellular aging, keeps our cells singing, keeps them functioning well for a longer period of time in our bodies. The cell only have a certain shelf life, if you want to put it that way. And what we don't want to be doing is accelerating that shelf life. We want to be making it last as long as functionally possible, and we know that eating whole natural foods help us to do that. Foods that give us a variety of minerals, vitamins, fiber, to help you stay lean, keep off that excess body fat, keep you energized, keep your brain clear so you can function, produce and perform at your best. So what are the action steps that you can do to help you to achieve that? Well, it starts off by what you're selecting. Now, one of the things that you can do when you go shopping is go to the section of the supermarket, or wherever it is you're shopping, that sell real foods. If you think about your supermarket, the way it's laid out, typically the first section that you go in is usually fresh vegetables, fruits. The rest of the food in the supermarket is usually packaged, processed, refined food. So can you get into the habit of doing your main shop in that first section with the fruit and veggies? It's a question that I'm asking you. You can answer that over time. But I guarantee if you started looking at those foods more than the packaged and processed foods, you'd make a big difference and a big positive impact on your health. Think about it this way. Avoid anything with more than 5 ingredients in. Yeah? 5 ingredients. Why would we look to eat a lot of foods with lots and lots and lots of different ingredients? Some people would call it, well, wouldn't even call it food. They call it frankincense food or franking food, yeah? So think about it that way. Is that something that you can do? Minimize those foods with more than 5 ingredients, and especially if you can't pronounce them, because you know there's dangers of all kinds of stuff in there. And this ties in with those first 2, is learn to cook more meals at home. Yeah, you know, when you're cooking, you know exactly what's going in it. If you're cooking something with a blend of whole natural foods, spices, herbs, you know exactly what's going in it, so you can guarantee that it's going to be a healthier option, as opposed to something that's packaged. You're relying on them to display what the ingredients are on the side to know exactly what has gone in that food. So think about cooking more meals at home, so you can control the amount, which talks about in terms of the portions. You can also control the ingredients. Yep. Okay, so remember, we're talking about look years younger and feel lighter, how to eat right, the basics. I'm sure you found those first 3 steps very informative, very interesting, things that you can apply in terms of those action steps. So we're going to jump into number 4 now, and you could argue probably the most important, and that is to stay hydrated. Hydration is key. We know dehydration is an energy killer, but we know also that most people walk around like mildly hydrated. Yeah, a lot of the time when we feel that we're actually hungry, or some people say I'm starving, which is not actually true, but most of the time those people are just simply dehydrated, and that over time can lead to things such as fatigue, brain fog, joint pain, and even that can aid with weight gain if they're misinterpreting that thirst for hunger and the feeling that they want to eat food all the time. So we know that proper hydration improves our cognitive function, it improves our ability to think clearly, to produce more, to be more proactive, but also on a simple physiological level, it helps our skin look way more elastic, more healthy, more vital. So key is to keep ourselves hydrated by drinking the right amount of water each and every day. Now you're asking me, okay, man, that sounds good, but what's the right amount of water? Now there is an equation that you should drink a certain amount of water per ounce of body weight, but I'm just going to keep it super simple for you, as you know I like to do. Think about it like this: if you can drink 2 to 3 liters of clean water every day, or 6 to 8 cups of water every day, or glasses of water every day, you're going to be in and around your ideal intake of water. Now make sure, as I said, it's the cleanest water that you have access to. Stay away from tap water if you can, because there's lots of elements in there that are not best serving us. But think about drinking 2 to 3 liters of water, or 6 to 8 glasses of water throughout the day. So action steps that you can do to help yourself keep well hydrated. Start your day with a glass of water. As soon as I come down, let the dogs out. I said dogs, was babysitting one dog at the moment. But as soon as you wake up in the morning, a glass of water before I do anything else, get into meditation or drink my coffee. Then I'll look to set my glass that I take out to work, or my bottle, fill it up, make sure I've got my water stock for the day. And then my goal is to drink that throughout the day. Drink as much as that water bottle as I can throughout my busy day. So you can take those action steps as well to try keep yourself well hydrated. So there you have it, my friends. 4 simple science-backed steps to eating right and feeling your absolute best. Number 1, we spoke about eating a variety of foods. Do your best to make sure you're getting a good range of foods in. Control the amount of food that you're taking on a daily basis. Ask yourselves, especially if your objective is to manage your weight more effectively, do I need to eat all this food? So control your portions. Number 3, focus on whole, natural, organic foods as often as you can. Do what's best for you where you are on your journey. Don't stress about it too much, but just make the best food choices you can. Yeah, whole, natural foods as often as possible. And number 4, keep yourself well hydrated, drinking those 3 to 4 liters of clean water as often as you can, keeping yourself primarily hydrated. So you can see that these aren't crash diet tips. I'm not here to offer you any sort of crash diet tips. These are sustainable habits that when you introduce them will help you feel lighter, more energized, and yes, I guarantee when you apply them consistently, you will look years younger. This is what I share with the clients that I work with. Think about it this way: food is not just a fuel. And you've heard me say this before. Food that you eat is a form of information that actually talks to your cells, your hormones, and your body. And if you think about it like this, it's talking to your future self, yes? So you want to provide as much quality information to your cells, your hormones, and your body, and your future self. So my advice is to feed your future self wealth. Wherever you are on your journey, what we're trying to do here on the Real Elevation podcast is help people find freedom through fitness. And that's freedom of mind and body by getting them to make choices for a better future. Now, speaking about a better future, if you're ready to take the next step and get a personalized action plan tailored to your lifestyle, I'm going to invite you to work with myself on the Real Rejuvenation Program, designed specifically for busy men and women over the age of 45 who want to regain control of their health, get leaner, get stronger, and look pain-free so they can live a longer life without wasting time on ineffective workouts or fad diets. So if that's you, I'm going to leave a link in the show notes where you can fill out an application form and we'll have a chat. We'll talk about you. So click the link in the show notes if that sounds of interest to yourself. And let's start building the body that you desire and you deserve. So that's it for us today. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm sure you found the information I shared with you insightful and uplifting. Remember to subscribe if you've not subscribed to this channel already, and leave us a 5-star review. By doing so, by you sharing, more and more people get to hear about the Real Elevation podcast and what we're doing over here, and we get to push it through so more people get to listen to us on the major platforms such as Spotify and Apple Play as well. So I appreciate you again tuning in. Remember, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm, and keep it real. Blessings and chi. Peace.